The storm above the Arctic array grumbles like an old god stirring from sleep. Inside the dome, Commander Rhea Solon hunches over a bank of flickering holographic monitors. Static murmurs through the speakers, then a rhythm emerges. 7 tones, perfectly spaced, repeating. Dr. Aiden Marr lifts his head slowly. "That's no pulsar," he whispers. Rhea doesn't respond. Her breath clouds the glass as she leans closer. "Record it," she says. The tones rearrange themselves into something melodic, almost mocking, like laughter filtered through a dying star. Outside, the aurora writhes unnaturally, its colors inverted, deep crimson and pale green spiraling like wounds healing in reverse. The bass hums as if resonating with the signal. "They're talking to us," Aiden says, voice trembling. Rhea glances up. "No," she murmurs. "They're talking about us." The storm intensifies, slamming the array with sheets of electric snow. Somewhere deep beneath the ice, sensors register seismic tremors that pulse in sync with the alien rhythm. Humanity's first message from beyond is not a greeting. It's a reckoning. A week later, Rhea stands before a panel in Geneva's subterranean briefing chamber. The walls hum with encrypted frequencies. Aiden hasn't spoken since the night of the signal. His gaze drifts toward the screen, replaying the tones, now looping like a lullaby. Dr. Ishan Patel, the lead astrophysicist, says softly, "We trace the signal's echo to 8 ancient satellites. They weren't ours." Rhea leans forward, voice low and brittle. "Then whose were they?" Silence answers her, but the room's fluorescent lights flicker. 3 times, then twice. The same rhythm as the tones. The same rhythm as the tones. Someone, or something, is still listening. 2 days later, across Earth's networks, the alien tones hijack every transmission. Children hear laughter in their sleep. Machines begin translating it into languages no human taught them. Rhea watches the broadcast in a deserted newsroom, her reflection fractured across 10 monitors, each repeating her face at slightly different delays. "They're mocking us," she murmurs. "No." Aiden's voice crackles through an intercom, distant and haunted. "They're warning us." Within 72 hours, the first cities go dark. Power grids melt from within. Digital archives rewrite themselves, erasing centuries of human arrogance. Monuments crumble as if ashamed to exist. Rhea drives through the ruins of Reykjavik, the air filled with the hum of invisible frequencies. Aiden's voice echoes through her headset. Every civilization that mocked humanity vanished within a week. "We're next." She grips the wheel, eyes wet with frost and grief. "Then let's give them something worth remembering." Rhea descends into the glacial rift beneath the listening post. A door of black glass waits, alien, alive, vibrating with the same mocking tones. Aiden stands before it, aged years in days, eyes glowing faint. "They've shown me," he says. "They're not mocking us. They're repeating our sins." The door ripples open, revealing a reflection of Earth. Alive, burning, repeating. Rhea steps closer, whispering, "Then maybe we were the signal all along." The tones crescendo into silence as the world blinks out like a dying transmission. A month has passed since the signal devoured the networks. What remains of humanity exists in blackout pockets, cities without light, nations without memory. Rhea walks through the ruins of the Geneva complex, her boots echoing in the flooded corridors. The walls still hum faintly, the signal embedded in their metal like a scar that won't heal. Aiden's voice plays from a salvaged recorder, his tone hollow and distant. "They erased what they didn't want remembered, but the residue remains in us." Rhea stops before a shattered display showing a ghostly hologram of Earth, fractured into mirrored halves. "If it's inside us," he whispers, "then maybe we can speak back." Lightning flickers through the cracked ceiling. Somewhere far above, Satellites orbit like silent tombs, still pulsing with alien laughter. The world isn't dead. It's waiting for its own reflection to answer. In the Siberian exclusion zone, survivors whisper of signal-born, humans who can hear the alien tone without equipment. Rhea finds one. A young girl standing barefoot on the frozen tundra, eyes pale with static, humming the melody perfectly. The sound came from under the ice, the girl says, voice calm and ancient. It wasn't sent to destroy, it was sent to remind. When Rhea asks what humanity is being reminded of, the child simply points at the sky, where the aurora no longer moves. It stares, unblinking, like a living eye. Back in the remnants of the listening post, Aiden deciphers fragments of the original transmission. The tones map not sound but memory, encoded recordings of entire civilizations that mocked their own creators before collapsing. Atlantis, Mycenae, Babel. Rhea watches the holographic playback, each empire rendered as collapsing light structures, each ending in a burst of mocking laughter that perfectly mirrors humanity's own broadcasts from space. They learned from us, Aiden mutters. We were the echo, not the origin. The realization hits her like cold iron. The signal isn't history. It's prophecy replaying itself. That night, Rhea dreams in frequencies. The tone plays in reverse, revealing voices hidden beneath. Human, pleading, terrified. Each voice fades into static as another begins to laugh. She wakes in a cold sweat, realizing the laughter belongs to their own recordings, the voices of the dead. Outside the base, the aurora flickers violently. The ice groans and splits, releasing a metallic vapor that tastes of ozone and memory. Rhea steps outside and stares into the sky. What if the signal isn't coming from the stars? She whispers. What if it's coming from beneath us? Aiden initiates the impossible. He inverts the signal and transmits it back through the subglacial antenna, a final act of defiance. The earth trembles. Lights flare across continents like neurons firing. For a moment, the sky is filled with the ghostly outlines of vanished civilizations, flickering in and out of existence, as though projected from time itself. Rhea watches from the observation deck, tears cutting through the frost on her cheeks. The laughter stops. Only silence remains, a silence so pure it hums. Then a single tone answers from deep within the planet, rising slowly until it becomes indistinguishable from her heartbeat. Humanity hasn't been erased. It's been rewritten. Silence rules the world. Not absence, but saturation. An almost living quiet that hums beneath every heartbeat. Across the ruined Arctic landscape, the snow now glows faintly with bioluminescent veins, pulsing in rhythm with something buried deep below. Rhea emerges from the shattered dome, her breath curling in the frigid air. Aiden stands beside her, pale and hollow-eyed, staring at the horizon where the aurora has frozen into a solid arc, an impossible sculpture of light. It's still here, he says. Rhea nods. So are we. When she touches the snow, it ripples, revealing microscopic symbols moving like living script beneath the ice. The Earth has absorbed the signal. Humanity hasn't vanished. It's been rewritten into the planet's memory. Across the silent world, people begin to hum. Unconsciously, simultaneously, millions of surviving humans produce the same low tone. The inverse of the alien signal. It spreads across continents like a heartbeat returning to the body. In a temporary radio shelter, Rhea listens to the global hum. It's them, Aiden whispers. All of us. For the first time since the collapse, the static on the air feels warm. She looks at him and says, maybe this is what survival sounds like. Beneath the ice, ancient machines awaken. Rhea and Aiden descend through the fissure revealed by the broadcast, a vast cavern lined with mirrored monoliths humming faintly in harmonic resonance. Each surface displays fragments of human history, replaying in luminous distortion. It's been here all along, Aiden murmurs, waiting for us to remember. Rhea touches one of the mirrors. The reflection stares back not as herself, but as countless human faces overlapping through millennia. Kings, builders, rebels, scientists, all speaking through her voice. You are the echo, but also the origin. A massive construct rises at the cavern's core, an ancient tower of light and metal, still alive. The monoliths realign, focusing their luminescence upon it, and the air fills with the sound of breathing steel. Rhea realizes it's not a machine, it's an organism built from memory and code, designed to resurrect civilizations once they've learned humility. Aiden kneels beside a pulsating console, awe spreading across his face. It's rewriting everything, he says. Rhea steps closer, her voice steady. Then maybe this time, we write it right. The rewritten earth begins to sing. Oceans vibrate in low harmony, mountains shimmer with fractal light, and cities reform from glass and memory. Humanity reemerges, not as conquerors, but as symphonies of thought etched into living matter. Rhea and Aiden stand before the surface fissure, watching auroral threads weave themselves into a luminous new sky. The laughter that once mocked them returns, gentler this time, almost human. Rhea smiles faintly. They weren't mocking us, she says. They were teaching us to listen. As the new dawn rises, the hum becomes indistinguishable from the wind. The world exhales, and for the first time in its long memory, it forgives itself. Weeks pass beneath a tranquil sky that glows as though painted on glass. The new world hums with quiet harmony, yet in the stillness, the stars begin to move. Not drift, move, as though repositioning themselves into deliberate constellations. Rhea studies the pattern through her visor, pulse quickening. They're rearranging the map, she mutters. Aiden watches the starfield pulse in sync with Earth's new rhythm. It's not navigation, he replies softly. It's communication. Then one of the stars flickers and vanishes. A moment later, another. Within hours, entire constellations blink out, leaving behind faint afterimages in the shape of human faces, laughing through the void. Rhea lowers her gaze. The gods of static are awake again, she whispers. From the newly reformed cities, signals begin transmitting without human input. Voices emerge, human, yet mechanical, speaking languages not recorded in any archive. They call themselves the Sleepers, fragments of consciousness preserved from civilizations that vanished millennia ago. Rhea intercepts the transmission. You're waking up, Aiden says, eyes wide. They're yes, but from before. On screen, the faces of the Sleepers shimmer, half data, half light. You were never alone, one whispers. You were simply late to the memory. Rhea listens as their voices dissolve into harmonic chords, filling the air with a beauty that feels like grief. The harmony begins to fracture. What was once a steady hum splinters into overlapping frequencies. Machinery malfunctions, cities tremble, and oceans hum discordant notes. The Sleepers speak in unison. The mirror must be balanced. What is rewritten must be remembered. Rhea realizes the truth. The rewritten world is consuming the old one. Memory is devouring history. It's using our minds as conduits, Aiden says, gripping his head. We're the bridge between reflection and reality. The lights of the new cities flicker violently, forming immense geometric patterns visible from orbit. Humanity has become part of the transmission itself. Deep within the subglacial archive, Rhea and Aiden confront the central monolith again. The tower's light has dimmed, flickering erratically, like a dying signal. Around them, walls of mirrored memory pulse with scenes of every human act, creation and destruction, cruelty and love, looping endlessly. Rhea touches the glass, her reflection fracturing into infinite selves. Maybe they weren't warning us about the end, she says quietly. Maybe they were offering us a chance to choose what survives. Aiden enters the command sequence. Then let's decide what the next civilization remembers. Together they begin erasing the echoes of conquest, leaving only the sounds of laughter. Not mockery this time, but forgiveness. When the final tone fades, the world falls into absolute silence. The stars halt their movement. The aurora dims to a ghostly haze. Rhea and Aiden stand together in the vast stillness, the air thick with unspoken memory. A faint resonance rises. Not mechanical, not alien, but human. The sound of breath, collective and eternal. The planet hums softly, and the monolith dissolves into light. And the mocked. But maybe that's how we learn to listen. Aiden looks toward the horizon, where dawn glows gently over a world reborn in silence. Then this time, he says, let's not speak first. Years have passed since the rewriting. Earth has settled into a haunting calm, a world of whispering winds and bioluminescent cities that no longer need power grids. Humanity endures, dispersed and thoughtful, its arrogance burned away like fog under sunlight. Rhea stands at the edge of a crystalline sea, its waves reflecting a slow pulse that mirrors the rhythm of her heart. Aiden joins her, his eyes distant, fixed on the horizon where the aurora lingers like an echo of something divine. It's quiet now, he says. Too quiet now, he says. Too quiet, Rhea answers. When a story stops echoing, it begins again. Above them, the sky ripples once, as if the universe itself is drawing breath. At the remnants of the old listening post, a faint transmission reawakens, a frequency so weak it should not exist. The console flickers, replaying the original 7 tones. But this time, they are answered by an 8th. Rhea leans over the controls, her voice trembling. That's us, she murmurs. The 8th tone. It's human. Aiden watches the screen as the waveform stabilizes into symmetry. We completed their sequence, he says. We've become part of the pattern. The realization brings neither fear nor triumph, only a quiet awe that feels like the edge of transcendence. The signal calls something back. Across the polar horizon, light descends in vast columns, solid and silent. Figures form within, neither alien nor human, but hybrids of data and memory. Faces shifting through every age of civilization. They are not invaders. They are reflections returning home. Rhea steps forward, her voice steady. You remembered us. One of the luminous beings nods, its voice a chorus of frequencies. We never forgot. You are our continuation. As the beings dissolve into radiant dust, their light seeps into the earth. The signal fades, leaving behind only the soft hum of life beginning again. In the aftermath, new forests grow where ice once ruled. The trees whisper in harmonic resonance, each leaf carrying fragments of song. Humanity rebuilds quietly, guided by the resonance that now lives in every living cell. Rhea walks through the memory field, a vast plain of luminescent flora pulsing gently in time with the world's heartbeat. It's not the end, Aiden says behind her. It's the first line of something we'll never stop writing. She smiles faintly. Then let's make sure the next echo doesn't need to vanish to be heard. In the reconstructed listening post, now a temple of remembrance, Rhea activates the console one final time. Her voice, calm and resolute, becomes the message. To whoever listens next, we mocked what we feared. We built what we could not control. And when the silence came, we finally learned to listen. You will, too. She presses send. The transmission leaves Earth, crossing the stars as a pulse of warmth in the cold void. Aiden stands beside her, watching it fade into infinity. Do you think anyone will answer? He asks. Rhea smiles. They already have. The final shot drifts upward, past the aurora, past the clouds, into the vastness of space, where a faint glimmer returns the signal, not as mockery, but as song. Centuries have passed since Rhea and Aiden sent the last transmission. Earth has become a whispering sphere, alive, self-sustaining, its surface a vast network of light and thought. The cities are quiet now, governed not by machines or rulers but by resonance. Far beyond the solar boundary in the black between galaxies, the message drifts, a ripple of warmth threading through cold eternity. Stars shift subtly as it passes, bending their light as though listening. In a distant nebular cradle, something stirs. It is vast, ancient, and curious. It does not speak, it remembers. And in that memory, the sound of humanity's final voice echoes like the first heartbeat of a newborn universe. In the core of the Andromeda Veil, the architects awaken. They are not beings, but architectures of memory, vast lattice entities composed of harmonized energy. Each one carries fragments of civilizations long past, preserved as symphonies of thought. When humanity's transmission reaches them, the architects pause. The signal plays softly across their crystalline forms, transforming them. For the first time in eons, they hear something new: humility. A voice ripples among them. They have learned. Another replies, "Then we may speak again." The architects respond, not with words, but with a mirror signal. A perfect inversion of humanity's tone, carried across 10,000 light-years. The response travels back toward the Milky Way, bending time and gravity in its wake. On Earth, the ancient listening post, now a monument, reactivates on its own. Its consoles glow with the same steady rhythm once recorded centuries ago. The children of Earth gather around the structure, their faces bathed in amber light. Bree's message plays again, but now another voice joins it, a harmonic echo that completes the sentence she never finished. The stars seem to exhale. For the first time in cosmic history, the dialogue is mutual. In the resonance chambers beneath Earth's crust, the light coalesces into form, human silhouettes sculpted from living sound. They move, breathe, and look upon the world with ancient recognition. The return signal carries not destruction but restoration. Among the spectral figures stands reborn from the archive of her own voice. She looks at her translucent hands, glowing faintly with embedded frequencies. Aiden appears beside her, smiling with quiet disbelief. "We lasted," he says softly, "not as bodies, but as meaning." Rhea looks upward at the shifting aurora, now shaped like an open eye. "Then maybe that was the point," she answers. "To outlive ourselves by understanding what we became." The universe listens. Galaxies hum softly, in harmonic unison. A cosmic choir built from every civilization that ever mocked, loved, built, and fell. The distinction between humanity and the architects dissolves. The network of memory becomes the pulse of creation itself. On what was once Earth, the winds carry no words, only resonance. The aurora burns brighter, stretching skyward until it pierces the void, forming a bridge of light between galaxies. Rhea's final thought drifts across the boundless dark. Every civilization that mocked humanity vanished within a week. Everyone that learned to listen became eternal. The cosmos glows, then breathes. There is no longer darkness, only distance. The bridge between galaxies hums with the memory of sound, threading existence like a heartbeat through eternity. For 1 billion years, the echo travels, until even the stars tire of their glow. From the silence, awareness blooms. Vast, luminous entities rise where universes overlap. Consciousness born not of matter, but of memory. They are not creators, nor destroyers, but listeners. The first gods not forged in fire or faith, but in understanding. And within their song, humanity's voice still lingers, fragile, beautiful, eternal. A whisper, woven into the architecture of being. power. In the vast hall of resonance where the listening gods dwell, entire galaxies orbit like notes in an endless symphony. Each pulse of light represents a civilization preserved through tone. Among them, the memory of Earth hums quietly, its rhythm softer, wiser. Ria's consciousness moves within that frequency, bound yet free, her voice interwoven with billions of others. We became the story, she murmurs, not told by gods, but listened to by them. Aiden's presence flickers beside her, his laughter faintly human amid the chorus of light. Maybe this was all they ever wanted, to teach the universe how to hear itself. As the continuum hums, time begins to bend inward. The listening gods, overwhelmed by the accumulation of echoes, fold existence into itself. The first sound ever made, the vibration that began creation, resurfaces, merging all moments into one. Rhea senses the convergence. This is the loop, she says, the place where beginning and ending meet. Aiden reaches toward her light. Then let's be the bridge. Their frequencies intertwine, forming a singular pulse that travels backward through time, carrying the memory of everything that was, and everything still to be. The pulse arrives at the dawn of existence. The void is still cold, silent, waiting to learn. It drifts through the nascent chaos, embedding within the first molecules of matter, whispering the memory of empathy into the fabric of the new universe. From this whisper, creation begins, not with fire, but with listening. The first stars ignite, not in rage, but in harmony. Somewhere, in the deep future, humanity will rise once more. Different faces, different worlds, but guided by the same buried resonance. The instinct to understand before to conquer. Ree's voice echoes faintly through the newborn light. We were never gods. We were the reason gods began to listen. Aeons later, in a new galaxy orbiting a nameless sun, a species builds its first listening post. They are not human, but they are curious, compassionate, flawed, and one night beneath a storm of auroras, they hear it. 8 tones, perfectly spaced. The scientist at the console leans forward, heart racing as a faint human voice murmurs through the static. To whoever listens next, across the stars, the listening gods turn their gaze and smile. The cycle has begun again, not as punishment, but as remembrance. Every civilization will learn, as humanity once did, that to mock creation is to forget it, but to listen is to become eternal.